If you want to see me swatch the Take Me Back to Brazil Rio Edition from BH Cosmetics, then stick around. You heard right, we're going to be swatching the Take Me Back to Brazil Rio Edition from BH Cosmetics. Let me show you the inside of the palette. It has a mirror, and these are the shadows that we will be swatching. So I think it's 32, 8 times 4, 32 plus 3, what I'll call transformer shades on the bottom, which means it's going to be 2 arms worth of swatches. And it does come with a plastic protector, which I have just gotten rid of. Now, these are very tiny pans. I think you can tell by my finger how small they are. But I think that for a rainbow palette, which is what this is, it's not a bad size, because I think most of us do not go through rainbow shadows that quickly. And they are all shimmer, either shimmer or metallic by what I can see. Now, the reason I'm swatching this one in particular is because it was a selection of Steph's in the last Palette Collection Roulette. And I'll put that video right here if you want to see what was selected and what palettes. I'll show you the reveal of what was selected. That's the video I'll show you. And she did not know what she was picking. So, but based on what I saw from her response, she was happy with what the number she picked ended up being, which is nice. So I'm happy you are happy, Steph. Let's get into swatching. I'm looking at it because I'm going, okay, this is a lot. This is 35 shadows. And I think I'm going to do my usual though. I think, well, see, I second guess myself all the time. I think I'm going to do all 4 fingers this time, including the pinky, because the pans are pretty small. So even if I have bigger fingers available, it's probably going to be the same for the pinky as far as how much product I can pick up. Usually I don't use the pinky because I don't find it gives as good of a swatch, but in this case I think it's going to be fine. And I do also have the original Take Me Back to Brazil, which I haven't swatched yet. So you can look forward to another one of those videos, this type of video, pretty much back to back for those 2 palettes. Also, if you're curious to know what I did to my face today, I have a video on it and I will put that one right there. So you're all up to speed on what is going on this channel. I'm going to get right to it. So I've got my towel ready, I've got my fingers all prepped and my forearm. So I'm going to be swatching all of the swatches on here, half of them, because there's a lot. So if we've got 35, then we're going to have 18-ish shadows per arm. And I'm going to just zip it and we are going to start swatching. So the first 4, I'm going to go row by row. Actually, no, column by column. You know, I'm consistently inconsistent today. I'm going to do this first row is what I'm going to do. And we'll do the transformer shades as a separate set of 3 swatches. Because that way every row, every column, pardon me, is for shadows, and I happen to have, conveniently enough, 4 fingers on my hand. So here are the first 4. And they don't have any names, so that's going to make things a little bit quicker for us. Like I said, they're all shimmers or metallics. And pardon my hands, they're very, very dry. I've been washing them a lot lately. I have to swatch a little closer because otherwise I'm not going to get them all in. Okay, so far, they're different enough. I think a second swatch is really going to help differentiate them. I can't speak. Differentiate them. So let's go in for a second swatch. And I was right, it's really hard to get the finger completely in, and I don't have the biggest hands in the world, so. I'm 5'2". I can't have big hands. There we go. So let's go for a second swatch. And I will be a lot more conservative with my swatch space use on the second round. The second set of swatches, I should say. Okay, the color builds up quite nicely on the second round. And I would have said that the first two are too close together, but this one is definitely a whole lot shinier than the second one. So I could see myself differentiating between the two of them for sure. And out of the four, for me it's a tie between these two as far as which one I like better. But all four of them are fine. Were all four of them really necessary? Probably not. But I don't mind them. I think, oh, you know what? This is a duochrome. It's not really showing up. It's not really showing up on my arm, but this seems to be a duochrome based on my finger. Kind of like Sissy from Jaclyn Hill. Anyway, that's what it is. So let's get to the second row. I'll just wipe my fingers off and get to it. Okay, so second set is going to be very much like the first set, just a deeper selection compared to this row. And again, no names, so I'll just go right into getting the pigments onto my fingers, or I should say shadows, not pigments. None of them, definitely none of them are strictly pigments because they're all shimmers or metallics. Okay, so second row. And I'm going to, like I said, get a lot tighter with those swatches. Seems like a fuchsia bubblegum pink kind of color. Not much difference between the first and second one on the second set though. This one's a bit different. And then this one, the pinky. Okay. I don't see much difference between these two. I really don't. I really don't. These three actually. These three are not very different from each other. So I don't know if they just thought that the pinks were going to be really popular colors and they wanted to give more product maybe? I don't know, but it's not looking all that different to me. If you like pink, you might be pretty happy with that, but okay, another set of those four colors. Okay, that does change it a little bit because it's a lot more intense on the second go. So I should just keep quiet until the swatches are done twice. That's what I'm learning with this palette. Okay, there's some differentiation now, more so than the first time around. Gosh, my hands are dry. Holy cow. All right, I'm happier now, but I still like, for example, these two, I don't see that much difference, to be quite frank. But, I mean, they're pretty colors. I'm okay with the fact they're pretty colors. If they were duplicates on colors I wasn't all that jazzed about, I'd probably be more annoyed. But they're good colors. They're kind of staples for a lot of people. A lot of people like pink and orangey, bronzy colors. So I think it's fine. All right, so we have definitely enough, probably for another 3 sets. So my fingers are clean, and we're going to go into the third row, this row right here. And I would call this kind of a fiery set of colors. We've got kind of a yellow, we've got a burnt orange, more of a tangerine orange, and what's this color? Kind of a coppery color maybe. These are the 4. Let's swatch those. And here are the fingers. They really look the same once they've swatched, but anyway, so there's the first pass. And let's go in for a second set of swatches. So here we go. It's a good thing there's the yellow right there because I know where to start. Still some similarities too between these two and these two. Like they're different, but on the eye you might not see that much of a difference. I do like this orange though. It's quite an electric tangerine type of color. So here we go for the second set of swatches of that third row. And here are the fingers again. I don't mind this row. It looks, it's got some nice colors, And the next row we're getting into some of the greens, which I'm very excited about. If you know me, you know that I like yellow and I like lime green. So it's getting into the funnest part of the palette in my opinion. And so this is the row that we're getting, or the column, pardon me, that we're getting into right here. So some yellow and some lime green, and there's a very light yellow in here. Oh yeah, very nice light yellow. Lime green. We'll see if it can dethrone my favorite lime green from Juvia's Place, the Zulu palette. That's such a nice lime green. And then this kind of a gold, yeah, kind of like a gold with a little olive green in it. So here are the 4 swatches there, and let's get to swatching. It's a very light gold color. I am liking this one. Very electric green. Makes me think a little bit of I think Freak it's called, from the Electric palette. And then the last one. That's kind of a grungy, goldy green. So those are the last 4 swatches for sure on this arm. And I'm going to go in a second time. And here are the 4 colors again. And let's get to swatching. They're building up nicely. And finally, the olivey gold, or antique gold, whatever you want to call it. All right, so let's just take a look here. That's the first half of the palette. A lot fewer redundant shades further along. I think these were more redundant, but again, if you love pinks, you may be thinking I'm full of it. By saying that, maybe you see enough differentiation between the two, not the two, among them. And so I'm going to say that it's probably a matter of personal preference whether or not you would want that many pinks in the palette. If it were me, I'd love more greens and purples, but which there are a lot of greens, so we'll see how it goes. But we managed to do half the columns. So we did 4 and there are 4 left. So that's good. That means all the columns of colors are going to fit on those 2 forearms. And I'll probably do the transformer shades on the hand here. And it's probably a good idea too to do maybe a separate look at using some of these colors with the transformers and see what the differences are, the implications are. Maybe I can do that on the other hand. Yeah, let's think about that. Okay, so we'll go into the next column, which is this one. Am I pointing at the right one? This one right here. All greens in this case. I think there's about a half a gram of product per pan. The pans are pretty small. I'll have to do the math and figure out how much there is in this palette. Well, I'm generous with space when I start, aren't I? Let's get these closer. Okay, that is a nice lime green, but I think I like the other one better. We'll have to compare them when I can stack the 2 arms, and I really like this color. Really like this color. Okay, that is the first pass on those 4 greens. And here are the fingers. Let's go in for a second pass. Here we go. I'm really liking this first one. It's very neon, bright, beautiful. Inner lid, here we come. I'm definitely going to be using it there. Second one, more of a minty green. And this one's more of a Kelly green. Not quite, but close. Okay, so here are the 2 sets of swatches on the first 4. These 2 are a little bit muddled, but I'm swatching with my non-dominant hand here, so it's a little bit tougher to get them perfectly aligned, especially if I have to keep them pretty tight to fit that many shadows on the one arm. Okay, fingers are clean, and we're going to go into the next row, which is, we're getting into some blues here. This is the row right here that we'll be doing swatching. Third last row. I'm really curious about this electric blue. It's looking good. Don't know. Might really like that one. So far, they're swatching pretty consistently well. The one thing that I'm noticing is not a whole lot stays on my finger at the end of the swatch, and that's making me wonder about lasting power of these shadows, to be quite frank. Oh yeah, I thought I'd like this one, and I do. I like it, although it does need to be built up. That one packs a punch. A nice aqua blue. It's another nice green. That one might be more of a Kelly green, really. And the pinky. Boy, those 2 are similar. Really similar. See if they're different on the second pass. But there are those 4 and the fingers. Let's go back in. Second set of swatches coming up. See how this blue builds up. Oh yeah, really, really nice. Okay. Okay, that's much nicer. And same with that one. Okay, that's cool. Don't mind that one at all. It's a bit gritty for some reason. And the final green of that row. They're not bad. So far, I'm happy with most of these. And there's more staying on the fingers on those on the second go around, which that inspires confidence. So we have 2 more rows, or 2 more columns to do. Keep wanting to say rows. 2 more columns to do before we get to the transformer shades, or at least what I'm calling transformer shades. I don't know if that's the right term. I'll correct myself later if I find out it's something different. Okay, so we're going into this second last row right here. We're going into more of a muted blue compared to the other one. I say muted, but it's still pretty banging blue. More of a cobalt blue, and getting into the purples as well in here. Oh, I think we have a duochrome. Is that a duochrome? Kind of looking like it. I could be wrong. Here we go. And let's get to swatching. I like this kind of blue on other people. I don't like it on me, but I do like it on other people. That is a nice blue as well. It's a little bit light to be called cobalt blue, but it sort of makes me think of cobalt blue. And that's the purple I thought might be duochrome, but I could be full of it. Matches my lipstick quite nicely though. And the pinky. Now that would be a nice blue for use in a smoky eye. And the fingers. Let's go in for a second swatch. I'm having fun with these. Although the pans are really, really small. Just big enough for a brush, but not really big enough for fingers. Okay, second go. See how this one does. Oh yeah, it's much better. Much better. And then that blue as well is doing quite nicely. Okay. Not bad at all. I'm okay with those. I am liking that purple. I won't lie. But I'm a sucker for purple, so most of them bring me joy. Purples and lime greens. That's my thing. What can I say? Oh, and they're really staining the fingers. Oh, okay. A little extra attention here to get these off. Okay, I think I've succeeded. So we're going to go into the last column right here. Got another pink, which it's interesting that we've got another pink on that side, but I guess it was more purpley pink than pink. And we've got a kind of a bluish purple, almost like a royal purple, and two more purples on the bottom. Shiny one at the bottom here. Okay, so here's what we're dealing with. And I think we have just enough room for these last four. So here's the first one. We'll have to compare it to the pinks from the other arm. Blue. That funky purple is this one. It's hard with the elbow right there, but doing my best. And then the last one, which I don't see much difference between the two. Okay, so let's do a second swatch of those, and these are the fingers. Okay, last set of swatches. I'm really curious about that second color in that row. Actually, pretty much all the colors in that row I'm curious about, because the first swatch was kind of weird. Here they are. So let's try this again. Much better. Again, much better. I should not be surprised by that. Now let's see these guys. The first swatches were dismal. Okay, definitely much of a build-up. This one I might have to go one more time in with the pinky, because the pinky, it's not as strong of a swatcher, and well, it looks like it did okay. Yeah, it looks like it did okay. I don't see much difference between those two, do you? Okay, so this is the full arm of the second set of swatches. Now, because I have two forearms, you know what I'm going to do next if you watched this channel is I'm going to superimpose them. And we'll take a look at the whole thing. Let's take a look at those pinks and purples. See if there's that much difference between them. I'm really happy with the variety of colors. I'm a little confused about why this green was in with the golds so much. A little strange. I wonder too why that one was not with the other yellows. Well, I can kind of see a color story going on here. You could do a look with these, you could do a look with these, and these. Definitely a soft pink look with these. I think, well, you could use these for sure. I can definitely see a color story with this area here, and definitely with these guys over here. A sunset look like I talked about over here. So maybe there is a bit of a grouping for color schemes as well in this palette, despite the fact that it's pretty much a rainbow palette. But so far, I'm pretty happy. Although I have to say that part of why I'm happy is because this may be all shimmery or shimmery metallic colors, but I have the palette that is the corresponding mattes as well. And that probably gives me comfort that I can do matte and shimmer all with BH Cosmetics. So that one, I will be swatching that palette coming up in a future video as well. So am I happy with the performance, at least from a swatching perspective? Definitely. But I reserve judgment because they have not gone on my eyelids yet, and I don't know what to expect. I have BH Cosmetics palettes other than these, but I have not used them at all yet. I've been focused on some other palettes, and I really do need to give this brand a bit of a focus. So I'm really happy that a couple of the palettes are going to be in this Palette Collection Roulette, just by the way of Steph's choice of the Rio Edition. I'm going to bring in the mattes as well. And I'm looking forward to the looks I can create with this. I'm pretty happy with these 32 eyeshadows. I think I may have said 28 at some point. No, it's 32 shadows, 8 times 4. And I have these 3 still to do with you. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to swatch them on both hands. One hand just to show you the swatches, and then the other hand to see how they transform some colors. So let's do that right now. So first I'm going to swatch them. So I've got these 3 and I'm going to put them on this hand. And I'm just going to swatch and I'll show you the final. Oh yeah, there's definitely something to these. There seemed to have been kind of an overspray on them. I don't think it's going to last past the swatches, but this is the first set. So this one has more of a, I'd call it a mermaid vibe with like pink and blue in it. And this more of a peachy gold color. And this is a straight matte black. So let's do a second set of swatches with those. Ooh, yeah, that built up nicely. Now I want to, I think that they are more, based on how shiny they are, I think they're more toppers than being underneath, except for the black. So I think for the black, I'm going to choose a color and just put it on top of the black and see how the black base brings out the color. I think I'm going to try 2 colors. I think I'm going to try that problematic purple down here and this relatively weak yellow and see what putting it on the black does for those 2 shadows. So these are the 2, and let's put those on the black. Definitely deepens it up. And how about the purple? So that's what happens to these. And let's put them side by side right next to the black line and see how much less intense they are. So same type of swatch. Oh, I'm so used to doing the forearm. Let's go here, and so I've got the yellow. Let's put the yellow right next to it. And then the purple right next to the purple. So you can definitely see quite a difference by using the black base. There's a big difference there. Definitely a big difference. Just going to see if I can intensify that single swatch. Just with what's on my finger. So. Interesting, right? Okay, so we talked about those other, the toppers. So I'm going to do a line of orange, and I'm going to do a line of aqua, I think. Actually, why don't we do 3 colors, because I've got 3 good swatching fingers here. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 lines on the back of my hand. Okay, so I just built them up. And I'm going to, the fingers, I'm going to put this kind of blue mermaid one on the aqua and the blue, and I'm going to put this kind of peachy gold one on the fiery orange, just on the 1/2 of the color, and just see what those transformer shades do for those 3 colors. Okay, so fiery on fiery red. It's an interesting color. It's not changing it all that much. And then we've got the mermaid type color that I'm going to put on the aqua and the blue color. So it seems to have done more on this top blue one than the aqua color. And just seems to have softened up the fiery orange. It does make them look more foiled, but I don't see that much difference. I actually like it more on these fingers than I do on the other colors. That's interesting. Let me just rub some more on here, just with what I have on the finger, just to see if they end up blending more. I don't know. What do you think? I can't really tell in the viewfinder what it's doing. I kind of like this side more than this side. What do you think? Well, anyway, here are all the little bit of, it's all the playing I did on these 2 hands for one last look. And then one last look at the swatches, and we're going to, oops, sorry, and we're going to call it a day. Like I said, I'm happy. 35 shades, lots to play around with, not overly large pans. It's a very reasonable size palette. And I think that, I hate it when people say, oh, it's good for travel. I think that if you want a palette that is a full rainbow and you don't want a huge size, that this is a very reasonable size palette. To me, it's a regular size palette with double the shadows. So I'm not mad at it whatsoever. It would just be buyer beware that this is all shimmers, and you may prefer the, what's it called? Take Me Back to Brazil, the original, as opposed to the shimmer version, but that's all a matter of taste and preference and complementing what you already have in your collection. I hope you enjoyed this swatch fest, because it certainly was one. Let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to hear what you think of the palette, what you think of the colors. Would you bother? Do you have it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know what you think. And with that, I'll say thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it every single time. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care.